Welcome back, everybody, to the Hearthstone Legendary Series, week number 7 Open Finals. It's time for match 3, where we're going to see KingRiaz versus PhoneTap. It's a battle between two Americans. We're transitioning all the way across the Pacific Ocean to see these two players, because previously we saw two Taiwanese teammates now go at it. And I got a chance to look at it, and it seems like these guys are playing somewhat similar decks, or at least classes. I think we have Paladin, I think we have Warlock and Druid. Maybe for both these players, or maybe instead of Paladin we have Warrior, which seems very similar as a replacement. And, well, we've been having a pretty fun time so far. How have you been enjoying yourself, Andre? Feeling a lot better?
Not even a little, but it's okay. I'm going to power through it for the sake of you guys, the things I do for you. Spoil. That's fine. That's fine. Anything.
They didn't even ask, and you did it.
Yeah, right, exactly. Anything for the Twitch audience.
Monkey see, monkey do. I'm imagining that scene from Zoolander. Did you watch Zoolander?
Of course I watched Zoolander.
Yeah, where it's like, "You're a monkey, Raina! Dance, little monkey!" And you're like, "Wah, wah, ha, 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 ha."
I used to have that, like, the blue steel scene. That was my offline image on Twitch for like a year.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That was before the good old Hearthstone days, I bet. Well, here we go. We have Paladin versus Warrior into Warlock mirrors into Druid mirrors. I guess the better player should win, based off that, right? People would always say.
Yeah.
But
Paladin's just one of the, I'd say the second best class after Warlock to take in a tournament, so I'm surprised we're not seeing more of it.
Right.
But, the players that do bring it seem to be having a good amount of success. I'm glad to see it more often. Warrior is one of those decks that is actually good against Paladin, one of the few I would say. Because Despite lets you clear off the 1/1s pretty easily. You play Whirlwind, you got Barongeddon. Just lots of... Brawl's pretty good against the hero power. So, but of course Paladin can easily win that matchup as well. They got Harrison sometimes in the deck. They have the hero power. The Paladin hero power is better than the Warrior one if you go late game, like in a fatigue fight. But yeah, interesting matchup for sure. That's like the first one's the one I'm more excited for because that definitely can go either way.
I feel like people have overrated Paladin versus Warrior a lot. They used to say that it was unlosable for Paladin.
No, it used to be. They used to play Kodos. They used to play Sunwalker.
Right.
It was like a lot slower.
But now it's a lot different, and I've seen so many Paladins drop to Warrior nowadays.
Yeah, it's just a completely different deck now. Paladin nowadays has Zombie Chow, it has Shield Bot. It has cards that actually die to War Axe. It's just it's much faster because it can beat aggro now, and it has to be. So, but yeah, so Warrior can definitely beat Paladin just because Paladin runs out of cards. Doesn't have just an endless stream of big guys anymore.
Okay, Mulligan's everything away here. Nothing worth keeping whatsoever. Makes sense.
Yeah, back-to-back Acolytes, solid.
That's great against Paladin.
He's got the true silver counter, though. Man, Cairn into Tyrion, the dream.
That's really effective. You know, Cairn's a card that's slid back into the underrated section.
Yeah, it's so good right now.
People forget about him because he used to be a really high impact legendary that people were like, oh man, he's just the best legendary in the game, always craft him. And then now he's on the opposite spectrum where people just ignore him outright.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly a function of how many mid-range mirrors happen in the metagame. And at the time when Cairn first got popular, there was a lot of like wild Pyromancer Druid decks going back and forth. And he was really good in those matchups. But nowadays, it's kind of back to that, right? A lot of mid-range deck, a lot of Dr. Boom decks. And Cairn is just great value in those matchups. And now that we're seeing them more often, he's a lot better than he used to be. I'm interested to see where he found room, though, in Paladin. Tough to fit that card.
Yeah, that's true. Considering that he does have some other decorated legendary cards, definitely had to make a cut somewhere.
How do you feel about Coghammer? I don't like that card.
You don't like
It
it?
just feels awkward to me all the time.
I feel it feels awkward if you are like doing the process of hero powering a lot, because then you just have like an Argent Square basically, and then a Stormforge Axe. But I think it actually has some really good places in the mid game, especially if you start having piloted shredders and some of your other mid-range minions, like even your Cairn, for example. Just get some really good. Divine Shield is so powerful.
Wow, that's a draw.
Yeah, that's one of the most important cards in this matchup for sure.
That's the turn to draw it. Big pickup here for KingRiaz. Doesn't look too flashy, but that if Warrior wins this game, that's why.
The Death Spite.
The Death Spite on turn 4. Imagine that turn without that card. Would have been much more awkward.
Does it force a react? Does it force into second attack here on turn 5 from Warrior?
Yeah, but he's got the Acolytes. Oh, you don't even have to, no. You Acolyte Whirlwind, I think.
Oh, that's a good point. That's really strong. Denies the Quartermaster, draws you a card, gate guarantees value, so that way True Silver doesn't collect it.
And most 5-drops have 5 health, so you would still save the Death Spite that way. He's going to opt to do it this way instead.
Okay. Another way.
Yeah, it sort of paid off, I guess. I mean, task mastering here is pretty good.
Draw another card. And you want to guarantee as many cards as possible. And you still have reasonable minions out there, so that way, if he opts to save his weapon, you can just pick apart the hero power or whatever comes out. Okay, but he opts to save his Cruel Taskmaster. So you want to save it for... I don't know.
Execute, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, execute, or maybe it's like some cool BGH plays or something. Not sure.
Yeah, it could definitely come up. Paladin's got a lot of those mid-sized dudes.
Oh, he's got 2 Whirlwinds.
Yeah, it's a very anti-Paladin list. I mean, wow, if you can't beat Paladin with 2 Whirlwinds, that's a very bad sign. I think that's going to heavily favor Warrior then. Alright. Gromosh, not bad.
How often does Gromosh become the finisher in this matchup? Or is he just used as like a big minion bomb that removes and threatens?
Usually goes pretty long, so he usually is a finisher if the Warrior has control. Alright. Belcher comes down. It's a good turn to play Cairn. I think we are going to see that.
So yeah, it's not that intimidating of a board right now.
Nah, but I just like going 6, 7, 8 right here. The best 6 drop into the best 7 drop into the best 8 drop. Against Warrior especially, it's just so good. That big game hunter is going to be given a target with that Dr. Boom though.
Is that that's the only target, right? Pretty much in the Paladin deck, short of creating one with the Cruel Taskmaster.
He is going to Coghammer. Wow. That's ambitious because oh, that's lucky.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, imagine if that bubble is on the other guy. It's crazy.
Could have easily gone the other way. But even so, you've dealt with the body on the board, but Cairn would have been able to effectively deal with it too. I guess maybe he was playing around like Brawl with a couple of small minions.
He's going to hero power.
Slow
Maximum
play it.
value, yeah.
He has a Quartermaster in hand, I suppose.
Yeah, I think good rule of thumb is just play Quartermaster if you can buff like 2 guys, which you'll be able to do next turn on 7 mana. That's probably a better play than Dr. Boom even.
Well, speaking of Dr. Boom, he'll be able to come out here.
Yeah. What a card. I was losing on board, and then...
Well, and then I had Dr. Boom. Well, what's funny is that if you make a minion here, a Silverhand recruit, and try to Quartermaster, you might pop a Boom Bot, which might kill your token and weaken your Quartermaster.
Yeah, I like just playing Sylvanas.
Yeah.
Go face first, because there's a chance you juggle a Boom Bot, lose a minion, so you want to make sure you go face. You might even.
Is it possible to counter Dr. Boom? Because I've seen some people try to do that in terms if they feel like the board is favorable to them.
He could actually. No, that's probably the better play, I guess. I don't know. I love playing Sylvanas anytime they have a guy that's gonna live basically, which is gonna be the case here. But yeah, you might be right about that. It's possible that Boom is a better play. Alright, gets to keep a mini bot. Yeah, Boom Bot RNG is such a big factor in games now.
Could have swayed really big with how it clears the board and whatnot. Well, Tell Sylvanas is pretty uncomfortable, but there are ways you can pretty effectively deal with it. I mean, if you just give up your Doctor Boom, essentially.
Yeah, and then you, I guess, I don't really, do you just BGH it? I don't know, I wouldn't want to do that. You don't really want a double Whirlwind, but it would clean it up. I guess going face is the best play. Let him keep Sylvanas for a turn.
Sure.
Play your own Sylvanas, right?
Yeah. But then, let's see, if you play your own Sylvanas, what's the worst that can happen? I'm always afraid of letting my opponent's Sylvanas live if I play my second one, and then...
The worst that could happen is, like, you steal his 2-2, and then he steals your Dr. Boom. But...
Oh, yeah, if they crashed into it.
But yeah, a lot of stuff would have to go wrong for that to happen. Yeah, Sylvanas seems like the only... he's going to go for the play that throws away Whirlwinds. It's not really throwing them away like they're getting value, but... Man, I don't know if I like this one.
Oh, he's taking a cool Taskmaster instead. Okay. It's like a mixture of the plays.
Wow, turn 8. He basically did nothing.
Oh, he played cool Taskmaster. And it's perfectly into Cogmaster, and then sets up the Tyrion.
Yep, so initiative is back on PhoneTap. Here it comes. Tyrion comes down, and all of a sudden he's so far ahead. He knows he doesn't have a silence because of what just happened.
Right. He should have dealt with Sylvanas with some kind of silence effect.
Well, now we're definitely going to see the silence get played by KingRiaz.
Assuming he has it. See, think about baiting out more. Oh, okay.
Alright, well, Garrosh is not fit to rule the Horde. Karen comes down.
It's pretty mean to say.
Yeah. I don't know enough about lore. Maybe Garrosh is legitimately unfit. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, it's because Garrosh killed Karen in, like, the lore.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why in the flavor text it says it's pretty insensitive to put it in the warrior deck. Yeah. But it's pretty rude, like, to say that to a guy. Yeah. What if, like, I don't know, like a Maz went, Reynad, you are not fit to lead Temple Storm.
Well, I haven't killed a Maz. Yet.
Love it.
Well, Whirlwind comes down. I guess Whirlwind do you Grommash just to kill half a Karen?
You don't have to. You can fire War Axe and Shield Maiden, I think.
That's probably better.
Yeah. But the good thing about Shield Maiden is it can contest.
Why is he so scared to play Sylvanas? Like, they play Karen, you just play Sylvanas. You guarantee to steal them.
That's true. Especially the Death Rattle triggers.
Oh, the Owl plays would have punished that, I guess.
Well, kind of. Because he doesn't actually have a follow-up to it to even kill off the 5/5 body. Guess PhoneTap is really going to try to milk out every single form of removal so that way Tyrion can be more of a trump card rather than a card that can just gain you so much advantage. Okay, let's see here. He's got some big game hunter for the
pretty good brawl turn though, isn't it? You're gonna get a better one than
that.
Attack the Karen.
Oh yeah, that's true. Kill off everything, and then if the worst case scenario, Dr. Boom survives.
Well, worst case is Bane survives.
That's true, I suppose. The 4/5.
Yeah, I guess you would execute that though. Run your face in. That's unlikely though.
Sylvanas now. Let's see, how much damage is staring at the opposite direction? He's got 7, 9, 13, 14. Yeah, I guess you could Sylvanas. You're not in threat of dying. That's where, like, the Owl will really punish super hard. Especially if these boom bots do anything more than 2 damage. Oh, he's going to try to absorb it here.
Wow. Wow.
4 damage.
I feel for him, man.
Yikes.
That's... Seems like every game I play with that card. Dr. Boom is involved.
4 damage.
Yeah, it's like the worst out of 8 outcomes always. Oh well. This board looks very good for PhoneTap. KingRiaz has made some macro decisions this game that have just really put him in a tough spot.
Let me think.
And PhoneTap, in the meantime, has pretty much the right answers to everything here.
Yeah, that owl draw last turn, very important.
Yeah, and then...
To be fair, though, Sylvanas could have been down 2 turns earlier before the owls.
Before it was drawn.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sensing another big boom bot. Oh!
Is there any other kind?
Is there any justice?
You have to attack face. It's too
Yeah.
good. Yeah, he's aware of Brawl, doesn't want to just throw Tyrion into that.
Sure. Because the worst case scenario is like Brawl, Harrison Jones.
Mhm.
There was an instance like that where in a Chinese league, a player was so greedy because he saw a Tyrion out there, and he held Brawl and Harrison Jones for like 2 extra turns, and he had like 50 health, and he ended up dropping to like 15 because he took so much damage.
Yeah.
And then after he brawled, the Tyrion survived, so he couldn't
Oh.
Harrison Jones. So he just conceded. It was so fun. Oh man. Oh no, it was a Korean league, not a Chinese league. Excuse me. I think it was an OGN. Yeah. Which this is looking really dire straits. Let's see if this brawl can do something big.
What's the percentage chance that you get a Doomsayer off a piloted Shredder?
About 1.5, 1.6%.
That's not too bad. Like 1 in 50?
It's 1 in 65 or something like that. There's like 65 2-drops.
Okay. Huh.
Something like that. I read some guy's post about it. There's like 60 some 2-drops and like 40 some 4-drops. So.
Because it's not that uncommon. Like, you see it a good amount.
Yeah.
I started playing around rolling mana wraiths with my piloted Shredders because I've had that screw me over a couple times. You trade it off on your turn and then you can't play the guy you wanted to play.
Yeah. Yeah, Mana Wraith is one of those funny cards where it might swing the game. Harrison Jones is pretty effective here too. Being able to take out that Death Spite's pretty clutch.
Yeah, very good card. You're starting to see that a lot in Paladin and Warrior. It's like the 2 classes where you're not risking too much by including it. One of the many, many 5-drops in the game that you're going to play over Bolvar.
Yeah. But I started replacing all my Harrisons with Blingtron for the fun value.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Replacing, not even together. Just
No, replacing. Well, in Druid, I put it together because with Druid it's fun. But
okay.
yeah.
Blingtron's good. I play him in Zoo and Mech Mage and Hunter on my aggro decks.
Yeah, it might give you the extra burst. It's interesting.
It's good. I mean, it's like Azure Drake, except you draw a... Well, you know how Captain Greenskin is like Azure Drake, but he draws you a 0 mana upgrade?
Right.
Blingtron's like way better than that. It's like an Azure
It's
Drake.
like a mad scientist in a way. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy. Is he Rag here?
Would he die if he went face? If the Rag did?
He has 5 health remaining, so he would if it was a Consecration and True Silver.
He's got double Quartermaster. Just needs to draw a...
No, he's giving up his combo.
So it's
His
pretty
Armor
much...
Smith Brawl combo is now separated.
Forces the Brawl next turn. Do you just double Quartermaster here? Or do you play
On
Tyrion?
one dude.
Yeah. Get him.
I like Tyrion. He's exhausted so much of his resources. It's very clear that he's like pretty desperate. He's also just used his Execute as well, so.
I guess there's still muster for battles in the deck too, so.
Yeah, I like Tyrion here. Actually, anything is honestly okay. Because the longer the game drags out too, he's still in a pretty decent spot. I mean, anything short of the Antique Healbot. I think Antique Healbot's a little unnecessary. But even Lay on Hands I think would be okay here.
Yeah, I like Tyrion, so you keep initiative. You want to be the first person playing dudes. If you spend a turn playing Lay on Hands, you're going to be on the back foot there. Alright, Tyrion comes down.
He's got the combo.
Ugh. Yeah.
He gave it up the previous turn, but thankfully he drew the second piece of the combo again.
The Armorsmith combo where
Oh.
play Armorsmith, play Brawl, lose Armorsmith for no reason, yell at Kit Kats on Skype. It's the story of my life.
It's actually somewhat true, too.
You have to do it, too.
Right. Here we go. A chance for KingRiaz to stay in the game. Not even to win, but to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Tyrion doesn't lose brawls from what I've seen. He's a man amongst boys. Now the question is... Oh. Alright.
Oh, man, I would like to see some card draw there.
Yeah, I would like to see some card draw. Lay on hands on yourself would have been alright. I would have also liked to see a quartermaster with one of the hero powers too. But
it's actually pretty smart. He's identified that he's won this game, so he doesn't want to show his opponents too many cards in his own deck.
okay, but Antique Healbot is a card that you might not see in every paladin versus quartermaster is much more common. Is that lethal? I believe that's lethal. Okay. How does he choose to do it? Personally, a fan of taking the choose over whacking Ragnaros right now.
I would suicide the 3/3. Oops, and then True Silver Face.
Oh, I like it. Making it believe like you misclicked.
Yeah.
Pretending like you gave up lethal. Gotcha. Give him a second of hope.
Yep. And just take it away.
Well, that's it for game number 1 and our only non-mirror match for the lineup. We have Warlock versus Warlock and Druid versus Druid. Although we don't know exactly which Warlock it is. Now keep in mind, these guys did come through an open bracket, but they were allowed to change decks. So it's not like these guys brought decks that they've carried over to the open. So even if they played Zoo or Face Hunter or whatever all the way through, they could be switching to Handlock here.
Yeah, and it might not be a true mirror match, right? It might be Handlock versus Zoo. And it might be Mech Druid versus Ramp Druid. There's a lot of variety with GVG out. Blizzard was saying, like you mentioned, they tried to make it so that every class has multiple ways of being built, at least 2 ways for every single class. So Warlock kind of already had that. Druid now has several different builds to go with.
What did Warrior get?
Shield Maiden and a pat on the back.
What about that that one card? It was like the Screw Crank Junk.
I love Screwjank Clunker.
Yeah.
I love that card so much. It's my favorite warrior
like
card besides
Houndmaster,
War
right?
Axe.
Yeah.
It's better. That ass. But yeah, man, it's so hard to make work.
Yeah, it feels like it at the moment. Maybe it just needs 1 or 2 more pieces to fall before it could get better. But we have a Handlock mirror, and well, I like going first personally in the Handlock mirror.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's better.
I think it's good to just get your threats out a little bit quicker than your opponent.
In this case, he should. So yeah, PhoneTap should mull the 2 owls, keep the other 2 cards.
What about
KingRiaz should keep the giant, mull the other 2.
yeah?
This is like my favorite matchup in all of Hearthstone. I absolutely love it. It's so fun to play because it's just unlosable if you don't make mistakes. Keeping 2 owls is fine too. I would not have kept. Oh, okay. I would not have kept both owls, but keeping one of the owls is fine. He mulliganed everything.
He tossed away.
Yeah.
Tossed away Mountain Giants.
From the
Oh, because they think they zoo. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what is going on? Both of them threw away their Mountain Giants. And, of course, they both assume it's the zoo, so they have to be careful. But if he assumes it's zoo, why did he throw away Hellfire? Isn't Hellfire one of your better answers against zoo?
Yep. I always feel so bad casting handlock games because I feel I don't know.
It's like the one deck. According to you, it's the one deck that you know how to play.
Yeah. I just feel like I'm always.
You have a strong opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's never in favor of what the guy's doing. That's how I feel. That's okay. Life tapping here. Good play. He's not owling his zombie chow. I've seen that before.
So that's the creative play. Oh man, what an awkward hand.
Yeah, that's what happens when you put a lot of
my
cards like Siphon
God.
Soul, Hellfire, Healbot into your deck. You just don't have a consistent curve.
I mean, he actually can't do, like, if he taps, he might just have to coin it to nothing. Oh, so he just passes. Keeps the coin.
So yeah, even if PhoneTap draws Owl here, he doesn't have the card to combo with it. No
Right.
coil.
No Dark Bomb. Nope, yes, Dark Bomb.
That is brutal.
Oh, well, at least he can coin Sludge Belcher, hopefully stall for time. But he's not going to because there's a Defender of Argus waiting on the other side.
And a coil. In case he draws another 4-drop, he could coil.
Right.
But yeah, just going to be a Defender here, I think. Although, no, I would tap.
Tap coil.
I would coil first.
Okay.
Because he could draw a Mountain Giant or a Drake off the coil.
It's true. Oh yeah, that's actually a really good point. Doesn't really end up being the case here, but it's fine. I always feel like Defender of Argus is always a clunky card though in hand lock. I mean, of course it has some really strong swings, but
You're absolutely right about that. It is very clunky. That's the best scenario for it, where you're defending your Drake to kill Sludge Belcher. But yeah, I usually only play one for that reason too. If you play Draxus, you kind of have to play 2 of it though.
makes sense.
Many possibilities.
So how do these late game cards in PhoneTap's hand work in this matchup? Do you think they're okay or you don't like them? Ragnaros and Draxus?
I mean, Sylvanas is good. It just like forces him to have an owl. Ragnaros and Draxus. Draxus is usually unplayable in the mirror. Like, you never have an opportunity to drop it because you're just gonna be dead on the counter swing. Yeah, Ragnaros is honestly it's good, even though it's very dangerous because playing it just exposes you. If you shoot him in the face, then you get Molten Giant Shadow Flamed. But in general, I would say Ragnaros is very good because you can play it in a way that it just becomes this trump card. Can win you games that no other card can, of course. That's what Ragnaros does.
Yeah, there's some opportunities if you exhaust all the removal, they can't actually deal with it. Hellfire finally able to clean out the board here for PhoneTap, but once again gives initiative KingRiaz. Does
Yeah. What better card is there to play with 7 mana on an empty board? There you go.
Baron Geddon in Paladin.
Oh.
I'm just busting your balls.
90% chance to win the
man.
game.
How about Unstable Portal in turn 7?
Yeah. Well, hey, man, it's like a 6 mana Dr. Boom.
Yes, that's the answer for 6 mana then for sure.
I would play Sylvanas here.
I have no time for games.
I like it.
Seems to challenge really well, even though if your opponent has an owl, you still have to deal with it. But if you owl, do you follow it up with a giant, or are you removing Sylvanas here? And if so, I guess you play the giant first, right, for mana efficiency.
So
Or does it even matter?
possibilities.
Like, oh man. I'm thinking about this for a second. Siphon is definitely not right. But yeah, I think Giant Owl was the play. The only question is, do you let the 5/5 live or not?
Right.
I think I would not. You can't afford to get Molten Giant Shadow Flamed while you have an 8/8 that hasn't attacked yet. He's going to opt to do it this way, which is fine. Because all he really has to worry about is like Siphon Soul on the 7/7, and then, you know, if that happens, you still have your boom bots. It's not a huge deal.
Okay, okay. Well, he holds off on these attacks, which I can definitely get behind, at least to play around Molten Giant range.
Yeah, if he had a Shadow Flame, he could have gone face there, I feel like, and then just
Right.
counter Shadow Flamed if he needed to. I don't know, he's got the Siphon, though. Going face is
So
probably a bit better there.
possibilities.
Well, actually, with Ragnaros in hand, a way to potentially threaten, but seems like he's going to spend his entire turn trying to remove This Doctor Boom.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the bigger mistakes I feel like people make in handlock mirrors is they play around Molten Giant a little too much or not enough. That's most of the skill when playing against handlock is just kind of playing around it at the right
Sure.
times.
Well, there's back-to-back threats here being dropped. Or do you feel safe enough to drop even?
Should have played Drake first.
Yeah, for more health.
Actually, life tap. Play both.
Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, this is fine.
Okay.
Alright. Game is well in favor of KingRiaz right now. He's very, very far ahead. But, you know, Shadow Flame can do crazy things, as always.
Well, you just used a Siphon Soul too, and that Giant's a big problem here. What do you even do?
Yeah, all the plays are pretty bad.
Oh gosh, actually, there's not much he can do here. He has to actually Mortal Coil for a better answer. Maybe cheaper Molten Giants.
Take 4. 2. That's enough.
Yeah, that's actually enough for Shadow Flame.
If he wants to go that route, we'll see. It might be better to Lotheb Earthen Ring.
Is it too greedy to squeeze into tap before this Molten Giant?
I don't think so. I would have done it.
Oh, well, you would have been playing with fire because you actually would have died.
Yeah, worth it.
Doesn't matter, life tapped. He's 1 damage off lethal.
He should play Jiraxes, but he won't.
Why not? Because the Molten Giant's in hand, you feel like you have to get it out.
Yeah. Well, like, if you play Jiraxes on an empty board, that's actually where it's insane. Because how do I put it? Like, every turn you hold off on playing Jiraxes, the opportunity cost is a 2-mana 6/6. So the earlier you play it, like, the more turns of that you get going. And, you know, you've already seen a Shadow Flame be played by your opponent. Like, that's the only way to deal with the Infernals. It's the only way.
Sure.
I mean,
Ragnaros also puts enough pressure, too, to threaten the game as well.
Yeah, but that could get, like, big game hunter and Siphon and then just gain a bunch of life. But honestly, like, KingRiaz is so far ahead, it doesn't really matter what he does here.
No, it actually doesn't. Looks like PhoneTap is out of options for this game. He can heal up to 9.
Yeah.
And well, he can actually heal up to 12 and then be defensive. Or
He's playing Lotheb, right?
Yeah.
Lotheb heal bot.
Lotheb heal bot, or just more targets for Ragnaros with like Ancient Watcher and Farseer if he wants to live like more. Either of those are okay, I think. Every other option seems very weak, considering that you might just die to a Ragnaros shot.
Alright, Lotheb heal bot comes down.
Won't stop it though. I don't know.
Yeah, you just Jiraxes, right? Jiraxes killed a 3/3.
Instead of a
face.
50-50.
Yeah.
That's pretty reasonable. It's pretty strong. I was thinking if there's a way to guarantee it with Hellfire, but I don't think so. Because Lotheb would survive with 1 HP. Life tap. Alright, I wasn't expecting that play. This is the very safe play, but I'm assuming you're just going to attack the face with this. And then try and see the outcome of it. So Ragnaros could end the game, and it does. So KingRiaz takes game 2 and ties it up, sending it to Druid versus Druid. Well, that's the end of the mirror here as we go into Druid. See what these guys can do. Handlock Mirror, did it live up to all your expectations, Andre? You said you absolutely loved this matchup. And love is unconditional, let me remind you. It doesn't matter what they've done or who they are.
Yeah, Giants were played damage was dealt. Somebody got wrecked. But I mean, I don't know. I just love how powerful that deck is. You know, everything it does just feels degenerate. You're drawing 2 cards a turn. You play 4 mana 8/8s. Oh man, it's
Feels
just
unfair.
great. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's good stuff. We're going into Game 3, though, and Handlock will have to sit. And again, if anyone is tuning in for the first time wondering how this format works, it's a pre-submitted lineup of 3 decks before you go into the blind pick stage. That way, when you go into blind pick, you have a general idea. But it's not. There's no elimination. It's not like once you lose the deck, you can't play it anymore. The fact is, you can lose with the deck as many times as you want. You just can't lose 3 games. So here we go into the Druid Mirror. I'm
excited to
expecting
see
Fast Druid.
Fast Druid. Yeah, that's pretty much been the only list we've seen in tournaments, surprisingly. I think Ramp is better. I think Mech is also better. So that's been surprising to me. You always see like the Spectral Knight Fast Druid list, but we'll see.
Well, you did call this out.
There we go.
Could be a Mech Druid, and Mech Druid is pretty interesting. What are some of the advantages or disadvantages of it compared to another type of regular Druid, like a mid-range that we usually see?
In general, I mean, you're just going to have more early game plays. You're not going to have those awkward games where you hero power on turn 2 and 3. But in the Druid versus Druid matchup specifically, I think Mech is actually favored because the Druid matchup is usually based on who gets board lead early, because it's very easy to just not do anything on turn 2 to affect the board as a Druid. So, for example, if one person plays Wild Growth, the other person plays like Mech Warper plus a 2-drop, all of a sudden those 2 mechs you have, they're going to be dealing like 3 or 4 damage a turn every turn for the next like 3 or 4 turns, and then you kill off their Druid of the Claw with Taunt. The other guy's always on the back foot. And, you know, Druid is so bad at catching up once it's behind, so I got to give the edge to Mech Druid, I think, just for... Oh wow, he didn't keep his...
Annoyotron, he threw it back.
I mean, I guess it's not that good in the mirror.
Yeah, it stalls.
Oh, Warper, that's a great draw.
It's for next turn, though.
Yeah, you don't play it here.
Yeah, there's no way to synergize off it immediately. The Azure Drake's interesting, too. Even though it's Mech Druid, it still has Azure Drake. Is it just because you don't have enough draw otherwise?
I guess, yeah. Probably a very limited amount of... Are they playing the same list? They both have piloted
No,
Mech.
Pilot Shredder makes sense considering it's a sticky minion.
Yeah, that guy is popular. Alright, Shredder boys.
Yeah. It's pretty resilient against whatever can be thrown out there. It might even 3 for 1 if it gets a really good roll off its pilot. You know, in a lot of ways, it doesn't matter if your opponent Wild Growth if you have Mech Warper out, because you're still catching up in the mana cost if you keep throwing out these minions. I wasn't considering Keeper of the Grove, though. That's interesting.
Yeah, definitely the right play. So, now KingRiaz has the option of his own Keeper or piloted Duder. I'd play the piloted mech. Nope.
Oh, they care about the board that much, huh?
Yeah, well, it's like either way you have the same board. You know what I mean? Like, what is he going to do with that Keeper on that turn? I guess, okay, the Keeper could kill whatever your piloted mech drops if he ends up playing Wrath.
Sure, makes sense. Alright, well, here comes the Sludge Belcher to try to slow down things.
Yeah, great card against 4/3s for sure. Still got to play piloted mech this turn, though. No choice.
Especially considering your next few turns have been mapped out as well, with these 5 drops, which are much stronger than the Pilot Shredder.
Alright, Sludge Belcher's going to get some good value, but KingRiaz has a hand that's pretty conducive to going late game. I mean, he's not going to run out of stuff to play for a while. PhoneTap too, he's got Ancient Allure. He had the turn 2 Wild Growth, so that's going to really start paying off in spades.
Do you I guess he's wondering if he catches in on an attack before hero power or swipe.
Yeah, he should attack with the 2/1 player on swipe.
Oh, yikes.
Which is now going to...
Yeah, especially considering that there's...
No, you would... What is... Oh, I guess. Yeah, this is better.
Yeah, less damage on your Sludge Belcher.
I would have Like, yeah, I was thinking attack the piloted guy first, but
It's less damage, I think. It's fine.
yeah. Alright, this is better.
And that innervate draw was pretty huge, too, allowing him to place this Pilot Shredder to gain back momentum on the board.
Yeah, now he's so far ahead. Turn 7 lore, there's no way this board is getting dealt with. And that's crazy how powerful Piloted Shredder is in Druid. I think I haven't seen that in North America too much,
Oh, man.
outside of the mech druids. But that's definitely a card we should be playing more, I think. It just threatens so much damage with Savage Roar that
Yeah, I think so.
it's probably better than normal Yeti.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really sticky. Man, I think that innervate was really big because I think Dr. Boom is a way you can seize back this board here.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Best card he could have drawn.
I think that's something KingRiaz will be super happy. I'd be very surprised if he chose for a more passive route here with Druid of the Claw or Drake. Those two cards don't feel like they have a significant impact compared to what Dr. Boom can do.
Yeah,
I guess unless you're afraid of what your opponent can do, because Druid is actually one of the most well-equipped classes to face with it if it has a big game hunter. Because I found if I have a big game hunter and a Wrath, Dr. Boom almost does nothing.
yeah,
You
that's
just
true.
hero power down it, and then you just Wrath for 1, draw a card, and you big game hunter, you actually lose no card advantage whatsoever.
Alright, well, no answer to the 7-7. That's definitely an issue here. Gotta play lore.
Should you have played Lore after? Oh man, that sequencing, unfortunately.
Big game hunter
And the Wrath, the exact cards you needed.
I think you do attack a mech here, though.
Yeah. The
Nah,
1/1.
Maybe not. I mean, I guess that's an attack he's going to make anyway. He's not going to let it soak up 7.
That's true, but then now he can like hero power it for 1 and then get the guaranteed kill.
Yeah, well, it forces him to use 2 mana, right?
I guess that's
if you
true.
do the attack for him, he wouldn't even have to.
Oh, you're right. He does have 6 mana. It does make it more awkward. Ah, well, that's a forgettable outcome.
Yeah.
Maybe this one will be better.
Oh yeah, I call that the Rainad Dr. Boom.
The exact opposite outcomes you want.
Yeah. Every game. It's not. It really wasn't that bad here. Mostly because there weren't any great outcomes no matter what happened. Getting 4 on the face is fine.
Ah, if he could have killed off the Ancient of Lore if they both landed average around there.
Yeah, but that's still like 1 and 3 to hit it
1
in
and
first
4.
place at all.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Well, BGH here. It always hurts to kill off a Dr. Boom that's already got an attack. It's only really dealing 2 damage, but I mean, it's still good enough that you have to play it. There's no option here.
I think so. Otherwise, there's well, one, reaching it through Wrath also means that this Druid of the Claw will live. But the second thing is, what else is there worth big game hunting?
Yeah.
Well, besides, assuming your opponent's not playing a similar card to you, which is Alex Straza, that's also interesting too.
Yeah, we see it once in a while in Druid decks as kind of the finisher of choice over Cenarius. Mostly because it gives you a little bit more healing and it also puts people in range of the Force of Nature combo. But yeah, we'll see what Mech Druid goes with here. Mech Warper, solid draw. Not going to do too much here.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that he doesn't have a way to deal with this, and I think he's in the back of his mind pretty worried about maybe even dying next turn.
Yeah.
3, 7, 10, plus 9, plus 14.
Like, yeah, either way, I think just Druid of the Taunt is your best play.
Yeah.
Wow, I would have played Mech Warper. You don't have time to hero power here. Yeah, that was a mistake. Because even if he draws another mech, and he plays 2 mechs with the Mech Warper, all he did was make a 0 mana mech. Which he could have done by playing it this turn.
Yep. That's a good point. Well, he did gain a life and did a deal 1 damage.
That's true.
So I guess he's that much closer to the combo.
Stacking armor, playing around Alexstrasza.
Well, speaking of Alex Straza, feels like this is one of her more opportune times to come out here.
Yeah, I would play it. Trade off the 4-2 and 3-2, and then Shade to the face. Maybe you wait a turn on Shade. No, I would attack. Puts him to 12.
I like that too, because considering that you might be on a draw to win the game from that point on. The alternative, Lotheb? I mean, Lotheb protects the Shaded next Rammus too, in a way. Right? But it's just like, I guess you're playing around the idea of big game hunter swings. Like, if he had BGH and Wrath.
If you're doing this, why are you attacking? Because the damage doesn't matter if you play Alex, which you're going to play. If you're going to make this play, you should hold the Shade, I think.
Unless he's going to Savage or combo with Force of Nature.
Yeah, that's true. Could draw into that. Well, Mech Druid well on the back foot.
Yeah, actually, it's not really doing anything right now. Nope, still going to be short here.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Lotheb into the... Well, if you Lotheb into the 3-4, you're getting swiped. Let's see, he's threatening 7, 11, 25 damage. You just tell Extraza face and go face with everything. The only way you die is...
Innervate combo?
Yeah, Innervate combo, which is so unlikely. But maybe you do kill off one of the spider tank or something just to be careful.
Yeah, you can use your... definitely use the minion to do that for sure. I still like Alexstrasza because it's an 8-8 that your opponent has to deal with. This game could have been over. But of course, we have the luxury of knowing the information, so he has to make that conclusion himself. I'm still going to be really surprised if you choose not to go for Alexstrasza. Alright.
Do you remember tournaments back before they added ropes to friendly games?
Of course. How could I forget?
Those were dark times.
Those were Paladin times. Giants Paladin times. Where it was like Koyuki versus like Nimsh. Or like Trump and Monk would play, and they just roped every single time.
No, there was no rope, man. That was the problem.
Well, that's what I meant. Like they would they would wait for a super long time. Like I think turns would take 5 or 6 minutes. Even like this one clip where Forsen did this like ridiculous preparation play with Leroy, like a runner in order to win the game. He took like 4.5 minutes, and I was like, oh gosh.
Well,
That's game.
puts hair on your chest for casting, right?
It's their trial by fire.
All
It's like
right.
getting hit by Ragnos 4 times.
Alexstrasza getting in there for way too much damage as he usually does. A little bit of an upset, I'd say. I mean, I thought Mech Druid would do a little better, but, you know, solid wild growth draw. And kind of a clunky
To a
Mech
bad
draw.
curve.
Yeah.
And then by the time Dr. Boom came out to swing it, it wasn't even that big of a deal. And so in the end, looks like PhoneTap is up 2-1, going to the blind pig phase. The only difference, again, between the two guys, Paladin and Warrior, not really sure what's exactly the best here. Feels like it could go... I feel like I can make a justification for almost anything, in a way.
Yeah.
But I'm leaning over towards the hand locks. I think hand locks pretty good.
Yeah, people usually just play what they're most comfortable with, honestly, so... without knowing the players, it's tough to say. Did we see any golden hero classes?
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe that's just like the most they've played with. I don't think we saw any golden hero portraits compared to the last game where we saw Ping Ping Ho had the golden shaman.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see Warrior being picked either here. Warrior would have been pretty decent. Although, I guess if you're afraid of the Druid, but if you know your opponent's playing Handlock, are you going to be picking Druid?
How many big game hunters do you run? I don't know. Maybe. Some people play 2 in these. I've been seeing a lot of handlock in ESL. Like
Sure,
a lot.
sure.
But, yeah, well, like I said, you can see it going either way. I'm not sure how they feel about certain matchups without having played too much Mech Druid after, I guess, like the first season I did. But, yeah, tough to say.
Okay. Well, I'm going to lean over towards the Handlock mirror here for the choices of the players.
I can see that.
Okay.
Actually, Paladin's pretty good. It looks like it's going to be Druid versus Warlock. Okay.
Yeah, that's the selections they've made.
That's PhoneTap playing kind of a standard Druid list with Paladin Shredder.
Well,
Wild
he's
Growth.
got Alex Straza,
Yeah, yeah.
so that'll be great for.
Definitely helps.
I guess if you want to have a big threat to fight evenly against the Giants.
Alright, well, let's see. I think a lot of this comes down to just big game hunter RNG, like whether you draw that card or not. But if you're the Druid that knows that's the matchup you're playing against, you can mulligan a lot more like accordingly. And Piloted Shredder, that's a great card against Handlock, honestly. That'll let you kill a giant with just like a swipe to back it up, get something out of it, unlike with a Yeti. So.
Yeah, it's good. It's resistant against some of the AoE. At
good
one point, it's like there's like a threat that Druid can end the game at any moment through the Force of Nature Savage Roar combo, and then Handlock can never safely Jiraxis, and a lot of it has to stem with minions that are always threatening.
Definitely.
Look at that curve.
It's a good draw. Turn one out. Ooh. Oh, that's tough.
Is it tough?
No, you coin growth here.
Yeah.
Before the Drake, it was tough.
Okay. Oh. No wild growth coin. Because if you coin the wild growth, you'll have 3 mana the next turn. You innervate the Drake, and then you play the Pilot Shredder.
Yep.
But by holding off on this mana, he's saying he wants to save the innervate.
He's saying he wants to save the coin. So basically, he's going to have coin instead of a coin every turn. So I want to say this is just worse in some.
Well, I mean, he saves the innervate so that way he can play something. Because he's playing the Pilot Shredder and the Drake. You do waste 1 mana, though. And a turn.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not sure. I like getting stuff out fast, though, against Handlock before they have their huge threat on turn 4. Definitely
Get huge threats on turn 4.
Yeah, I like seeing life tap here. He's considering just throwing out BGH as a minion. That's vulnerable to Keeper of the Grove, though. Even if it lives. It's, This is my issue with Zombie Chow, by the way. Right here. He really wants to play a Mountain Giant on 4, but if he plays Chow...
He can't do it.
Yeah.
And Chow's supposed to come out early, and that's the whole point of it, to control the board state, right?
Yep. Oh man, he drew Alexstrasza. That's the only card in his deck over 7 mana, I think. So that holding on to that Innervate's actually going to pay off a lot.
Oh yeah, he's got a turn 4 Azure Drake into a turn 5 Alexstrasza. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, no Keeper here, which is a little unfortunate for him, but Drake, go face, I like it.
I guess he's wondering if he could utilize any of his other spells, but I think that's the best. A little bit of a scary moment here for KingRiaz. Because it's not as simple as just dropping the Mountain Giant here.
I think it is. Tap Giant, kill the Drake.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff that on the other end that's going to be waiting on him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because there's always these games where as much as you're going to drop the Giants, and then like what used to happen when the double combo Druid was first come out, it would be like you just died 2 Savage Roars the next turn. But the good news is that's not the case here.
Yeah, I like that he's being aggressive here. It feels so good to kill Azure Drake with Twilight Drake. Drake on Drake cannibalism. It's
What?
just before it gets Keeper.
You what, mate? Hey, by the way, if one of those Wraths was a Savage Roar, this game is over.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. He has the Innervate.
How wild is that, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Well, I think we're gonna see. Man, okay. Well, whatever you do, you're gonna start by drawing a card off Wrath. I think.
Makes sense to me.
He could have Alex as well, but I don't think that's that good here.
No, especially considering that your opponent can Siphon Soul, and effectively Alex did 2 damage. costing you 2 cards.
Yeah, so we are going to see Pilot and Shredder trading up here. I'm surprised that he wrathed that one. I guess it doesn't. No, it does matter, doesn't it?
That makes sense, considering that's the bigger threat.
Well, if you wrath the Drake for one, you could. Oh, never mind. This works too, I guess.
Okay.
Okay,
An Armor Smith. Well,
not a bad one.
there's definitely worse ones, like Captain's Parrots or Novice Engineers.
Yeah.
You know what's actually one of my favorites to get?
Hmm?
Like, what's your favorite to get? I want to know your answer.
Oh man, I haven't played too much piloted guy, but I guess Doomsayer.
What? You wanted to get Doomsayer after all that's what just happened here?
Yeah, it stops them from playing anything on their turn.
Your answer is wrong.
What did you get?
What I want every single time is Patient Assassin. That card is
that one's
badass.
insane. That's insane.
Badass.
Yeah.
The first time it happened, I was giggling so hard like a schoolgirl.
Yeah, that's really tough to lose after Assassin.
It's amazing.
Also, Millhouse, I guess, is pretty good.
Yeah, it's true. It's just like straight up value. 4/4. Have you gotten Pagel yet?
I don't want to talk about that card.
Come on, you have an entire emoticon on your channel dedicated to him.
Yeah,
Not gonna even say hi?
I'm gonna light it on fire. That card.
Your sub donation is
Howdy.
based off his.
This is a Nat Pagel attack sound. Yeah. Nat Pagel's betrayed me. I wanted to keep an Excel sheet going on my Nat Pagel flips back when he was, in every deck. I think my hit rate was like 43%. I tracked it for like
Really?
2
Wasn't
weeks.
there a bug at one point where it was like it only hit
25,
25%?
yeah.
Was that really a thing? I thought that was just a
People said so. I don't know.
confirmation bias or something.
But it was actually like 50% after they allegedly fixed the bug. Oh man, I was rolling 43 in like over 100 flips.
That sucks.
Yeah, it hurts.
So you're just statistically a slightly unlucky player.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
That's pretty out there on the bell curve, man.
43%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it is. It's a 14-point swing from the opposite end.
Well, BGH, Double Molten Giant, just all around not a great turn for Handlock here. Lothab's really getting in the way of this hand.
Right, and there's there's coin combo next turn. So he actually needs to stall as best as he can.
Is he dead?
I think he's dead, because this Armor Smith's going to be pushing for the last 3 points of damage. And that means PhoneTap has won this series.
Oh, well played by him.
So it's no Patient Assassin, but it'll do for now.
He even drew the BGH at the end, just to, just in case.
Well, he heard he needed him, right?
Yeah.
Somebody called for a BGH.
Right on time as usual.
All right, well, KingRiaz's run will end here, and PhoneTap goes to the semifinals to play the winner of Cole versus Ant.
I like PhoneTap's decks a lot. A lot of seem like refined, proactive strategies. Good
Stuff. Very good balance all around.
Yeah, I like playing piloted mech in a wild growth deck over like just normal Yetis. It's something I'm gonna try out for sure.
It was, I believe, another player, his name is Frozen, was doing a lot of that too. Frozen
heard
was
of him.
hitting #1 legend quite often with piloted mechs in his deck too. So I think he experimented even with Sky Golems as a 6th drop.
Yeah,
and it was like I don't know if he liked it as much, but I know he definitely liked the pilot shredders a lot. So it's cool to see that these guys have started to refine too, with his own flavor too. Alex Strauss is not something you commonly see. So
Yeah, definitely.
it's a good stuff there. Let's take a look at the bracket to see where we currently stand after 3 series of play. We have one more quarterfinal before we go into our last 2 matches of the day. We have Cole versus Ant, and the winner of that will go on to play PhoneTap. And of course, they're all playing for 2 spots to go into Saturday's main event.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the games. Ant was the player who got top 16 in NA BlizzCon. So one of the more veteran players, I guess, out of these. Should be, I guess he's probably the favorite going in, but yeah, I'm excited to see what decks they brought. And yeah, it's great to see It's great to see like a player that wasn't known that much show up in more than one tournament. You know, nice to see familiar faces. But
Right. It wasn't just a fluke to get to the top 16. And he's been trying to qualify. He's gotten very close every single time. It's good to see him again here. That series was brought to you by all of our proud sponsors at Newegg through Cooler Master, Crucial, and Western Digital. Check out the link at the below. It's a great deals on all kinds of stuff. Say, post-Christmas, you got like a computer case and you want to fill out more stuff. They've got all this kind of cool stuff on discount, so check that out. As well as Plantronics too. If you're looking for new headset gear, you can check out their rig stuff. It's interesting to hear like all kinds of cool perspectives on different headsets. But personally, I think these Plantronics headsets, I use them for work. They're pretty good.
is that these?
No, these are another product that are not Plantronics.
Okay.
Oh,
I was
great bait,
curious.
mate! 8 out of 8. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna have more action here at the Hearthstone Legendary Series. The last quarterfinal is coming up right after this.